gotta send you. Okay, so I like Mahomes. Did you ever watch Eastbound and Down?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he sounds a little bit like Powers, right?
He sounds exactly like Kenny Powers. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no. So we started off. They actually threw a nice party for us at the hotel. The Chainsmokers came through. DJ Khaled came through. I had the goddamn Spoon Man from the Soundgarden videos coming to my shit.
No way.
Oh yeah, I'm talking 6 grills burning at all times. Tiki torches, 3 whole pigs, fucking shitloads of macaroni and cheeses, baked potatoes, collard greens, a horse, fucking Puerto Rican chicks showing their pussies and tits off everywhere. You can't beat that, man. That's every genre of music you need right there.
Right, welcome to the first episode of season 2 of What Are They Gonna Say Now? Also, the first episode that we are recording together
Live.
in
person.
together. Back here in Sonoma.
This is fun, man.
Yeah.
We did it. Yep.
Yeah.
Got some drinks in hand. Cheers.
Definitely some bourbon involved here.
Combining the worlds a little bit. Hey, I also gotta say, man, got some Swirlo gear on here.
That's our official sponsor,
Yeah,
Swirlo.
absolutely.
Swirlo
man.
Golf. My brand.
Super comfortable.
Check it out, swirlo.com.
Absolutely, man. Really enjoying this stuff, so get your merch. Absolutely. So what's been going on, man? It's been a while. When did we last recorded? End of June.
Right after the Jordan Poole CP3 thing.
That's right.
That whole thing.
Okay. All right. There's been some stuff that's happened, but I kind of feel like free agent wise, there hasn't been like a huge amount of news.
No, it's been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Off season, relatively speaking.
Trade wise, rumor wise.
Yeah. Well, we were just saying before we start recording, kind of the biggest news of late is, James Harden goes all in on Daryl Morey.
Yeah.
Was that a basketball camp in China or something like that?
It was. I don't know if it was a camp or an event in China there that he was doing, which, you wouldn't have thought there had been any news related to his current situation. And he basically said, basically cussed Daryl Morey out. I mean, not with those words, but
it's like, I'll never play for him again. He's a liar.
Yeah.
Etc.
And they were tight, right? I mean,
they were like super tight.
That was Morey's
guy.
He went
back to Philly.
Yeah. So at this point, from everything I've heard, he's going to be coming back and playing for the 76ers. But do I have a bet on him finishing the season there, or even playing like a good amount of games after all this? No.
And the NBA has formally launched an investigation.
That's true. That throws another wrench in the complication there. So what the investigation they're looking at is more of maybe what was promised in the
illegal handshake deals,
yeah,
like last year, like we were talking about.
I mean, Daryl Morey, I think, has always tried to find ways to kind of skirt around, around the edges. So who knows what they'll actually find, and if they find something, what they'll actually do. They might give like a slap on the wrist punishment or something like that. But
because remember, Harden took way less money.
Oh yeah,
last year,
right?
And everyone's like, "Oh, there's got to be a handshake deal behind the scenes for him to then get the proper contract after the fact." And they were, it was a ring chasing thing,
right?
We all talked about it. We all felt it.
I think we all figured that's what happened. Yeah.
And then now it's,
but the fact that he's airing that out too is kind of like, I don't know. It's
kind of wild.
It's wild. I don't know where it's gonna go. I feel like that's been Harden though. Ever since he left Houston, really, it's just like, no situation to me felt solid and that he was gonna be there forever. So,
right.
I don't know. I think things are super up in the air there in Philly. I wouldn't be surprised to hear even more about Embiid maybe being like, you know what?
I'm out.
Well, I mean, would you stay?
Out?
Would you stay?
It's kind of a shit show.
It is a shit show. But do you feel like, okay, so here's the question. I mean, I didn't know we were going to get so deep into this, but we're here. Do you feel like that's Philly's fault? Like regime-wise of like what they've been trying to do. I mean, the whole Ben Simmons thing was a shit show on its own. And then he was out, and like what they tried to build around Embiid and everybody else. Do you feel like that's a Philly management problem, a Morey problem, a Harden problem?
I mean, Morey came in after the process, of course, so that was already like rolling as it was.
But the process did help them get Embiid, correct?
Yeah,
and like the core that they've been building on now. So
right. So you're saying after that point,
right? Like where would you place more of the blame on the recent struggles?
I mean, Embiid has health issues always.
True.
I know he won the MVP, but then he was a little banged up in the playoffs, right? And then,
right. To be honest, he didn't have a great playoff showing this year, where Harden was really...
The games they won were because of Harden.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I kind of side with Harden on the, I took less money. I've been doing everything I'm supposed to do.
When I stepped
supposed to have a deal.
When I stepped up in the playoffs, that's when we won.
Right. So I don't know, man. To me, it's just... We
got two Warriors fans siding with Harden.
Right. Harden and Chris Paul's on our team. What is going on in this world? No, I have no idea what's going to happen. I feel for Embiid because I think he's a really good player, but like you said, I think he's also isn't, completely void of blame.
Right.
It's just a bad situation.
But this whole thing's crazy because Harden and Morey were so tight. I mean, that's why...
That was his guy.
He followed...
Doesn't he have a painting
him back over...
Doesn't he have like a painting
Houston,
of him in his
house? He was in Brooklyn, and then he followed Morey over to, to
I don't think Morey...
Philadelphia.
I don't think Morey comes to Philadelphia not for Harden and that regime of like, you know what I mean? Getting to like redo...
Well, what's interesting... I mean, the investigation's happening. Mm-hmm. What are the possible ramifications? Loss of draft picks, like salary cap manipulation.
Yeah.
Handshake deals are super legal. I mean, they happen, but like...
But the airing out, that's the problem. Everybody, it's one of those things where everybody knows what happens, but like when you say, hey, we had a side deal of this was going to happen, and and it kind of blows up that way and it's public, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean,
the league
this
doesn't
could
like
end up being... It won't go on the player.
No.
It'll go on Morey.
Right.
And the organization.
Yeah.
And then you want to go not conspiracy theory, but also other aspects. Mm-hmm. So Morey's the one who was outspoken against China.
Yes.
Right? And that whole thing.
Where did Harden bring it
called him out, right? LeBron, bad look for LeBron, right? In that case. It's talking about like, human rights.
Right.
So, first of all, Morey is correct in what he said back then. But that's going to play into this if this all gets really ugly.
100%.
So we're either going to see a complete blow up of all of this going somewhere, or we're going to see a hard sweep under the rug.
Yeah. Which I could see both. Honestly, to me, like I think it's just a hornet's nest of, I think the league like taking a super hard stance on this would be opening up just a can of worms that I don't think they really want to get into because it happens.
There's always been handshake deals.
It happens everywhere. So if you ding one person, and Morey's not, one to be quiet, kind of just you take the punishment and,
Yeah.
I feel like that would just bring out so much stuff. I think there'll be some kind of punishment, but I don't.
So you're going swept under the rug. I agree.
I mean, it'll be maybe a little draft pick or something, or
did they lose 2 draft picks last year for tampering or something too?
Philly,
yeah,
it's possible.
I think they did.
It's possible.
I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, they're all in on their core anyways. Like, I don't even really think they're losing a second round draft pick. Then they're going to be like, all right,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't
okay,
matter.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. But yeah, it'll be. I have no idea. We'll see. To be continued. I'm sure some episodes this season will be bringing some news about. Okay, now this is happening.
Yeah, before October, we're gonna hear something.
Embiid wants out. Whatever. So, Yeah, no, that's been probably the most recent kind of big news thing, right? I would say that everybody's talking about. Is there anything else that's been?
It's been a relative. I mean, the NBA offseason used to be kind of mellow.
Yeah.
And the last several years, it's been chaotic, like crazy stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
And then so this is kind of like back to what it used to be like.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of big free agents out there,
right?
Not a lot of massive trades in the same way.
Yeah, I mean, we're still waiting on like the Dame Lillard situation, which, you know, that was something I thought would be done by now, just because of like once he finally made the request, right? Which we've been waiting on. How many years have we been saying, dude, Dame, go? The loyal thing is just like everybody knows you're loyal. Everybody knows you're great. Nobody's gonna get mad at you. Just go. And
when the NBA made a comment about the Dame situation and his agent talking about like
his preferred destination, the
only and how
he
wouldn't play that hard for some teams that he doesn't want to go to.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look, but that happens.
But it happens.
That happens all the time behind the scenes.
But it's another thing of it being aired out.
Yeah.
Which I think is the problem the league has a problem with more, is where, you got somebody saying that in public and, in these kind of reports. That doesn't look good. Basically saying that players can force their way out, which we already knew because it's been happening.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like he still ends up in Miami. I just don't know when or I could see it dragging.
So who is Miami giving up in this situation? They're going to unload Lowry.
Yeah, I think they just get rid of some of the veteran guys. They have a lot of draft. They're set up to just dump a lot of assets. Basically, they've been waiting for that type of player to come on the market.
Because Miami's just been sitting on the cusp.
Oh yeah,
a couple times there now.
Pair him with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. I mean, they're formidable to me.
Yeah,
in the East. I mean, they're already in the.
I mean, they've been in the
East Conference Finals. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, in the finals, right? Yeah, we're in the finals. Yeah, I was like,
yeah. How I know you forget, right?
No, I know.
And then the year before, they were at Jimmy Butler 3-pointer away from the finals,
right? And it just trips me out because I'm like, wait, they were in the finals, like, because I don't think we expected that,
Yeah, no, they were the 8th seed,
right? So I mean, that team got to the finals. You add Dame Lillard to that, I realize they're going to lose some depth and some of that stuff, but that big three against everybody else in the East, I'd say they're formidable. So,
talking about Philadelphia, what would have happened? Tobias Harris over me? What if Philadelphia had kept Jimmy and given that money to Jimmy Butler? Instead of Tobias Harris.
Yeah. So if we're talking about management,
that's a what if.
They're definitely they definitely could have built more, like given all their attention to Jimmy and been like, we're building around you, and then built out from around there, right, with Embiid and everybody else. And
that's a major what if.
I think I mean, I understand why they probably did what they did, but it's also one of those things where you see him thrive somewhere else, and you're like,
well, and we're talking about Embiid, and he gets injured, and I know he was the MVP, but not always there. But so I mean, with this more recent version of Jimmy Butler was there with.
I can't imagine. I mean,
right?
That'd be unreal.
Sorry, Philly fans, but you're all thinking the same thing already.
Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. What else? Big moves. I don't think there's been any other big trades or even trade rumors since we last recorded.
Yeah, it's been really quiet. Like half the NBA off-season news has been like the summer of Steph.
Yes.
Steph Curry going out to Edgewood and Tahoe. I was out there on my buddy's boat watching. And,
that's right.
Yeah.
I just found that out. How did I not know
I don't know. I don't post on the social media that much anymore. So that's why.
You gotta watch out for these guys.
But like, Curry winning out there and
dapped up Steph.
They've had that tournament for 20 plus years. He's the first active athlete to win the event.
Unreal.
Yeah, like active in his current sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what were we were talking about off mic, like you talk about like other athletes who like take on like sport of golf or something like that. Steph is like legit could be like maybe not best in the world, but I'm talking about like elite of elite, like on a PGA.
Like if
circuit.
he's a little older now, obviously.
But if he like put all his time to that,
and I have the golf background, so I can speak well on this. Hey, hence look, golf brand, right?
Swear a little, get your gear.
I mean, he's so talented that if he had dedicated himself to it, he probably. I actually think there's a good chance he could have like been a tour level player. Now let's talk about best in the world. That's a whole other ballpark. But
on that level of like,
people underestimate. They'll see like John Smoltz, some of those baseball pitchers who are good golfers, Tony Romo, and you're like, no, they're not even close. Like not even close. But Curry's so dedicated, and if he was just doing that all the time, which, by the way, if you can be, a top 10 NBA player of all time, shoes and the money, why would you ever go to golf? I mean, although Tiger, Phil, Jack are actually that's the underrated part. Some of the top earning athletes of all time are golfers, like by a lot. 3 of the top 10, right there. The 3 guys I just mentioned. People don't realize even after the fact, like Jack Nicklaus. Bank. Could Curry have gone to that tour level? I actually think he could have. And I rarely would say something like that. But you see it, he has that killer instinct, So at 18 in Edgewood, he, sinks a 20-footer for eagle just to win the whole thing, and just like killer instinct.
And you know what's crazy is, it was unreal. I think I was texting you during it, like, dude, are you seeing this? Like, this guy is unreal. But what was funny about that was they had the, did they call it the tournament? Where it was him and Clay versus...
And he didn't play that great in it.
No, they struggled. So I was like...
Clay kind of called him out on JJ's podcast. Or
Clay struggled.
No, but he said on PG-13's podcast.
Yes.
And he's like,
I did this
damn, dude, you're supposed to carry me. Like...
They both kind of struggled, so I was kind of like, oh, man. And then to see Steph do that was like the next week.
He had the crazy, he had the hole-in-one.
Yeah, that was unreal.
And then he made this like 60-foot putt.
Running
and then
up the fairway.
The big drop on 18 to win the whole thing. So, I don't know, some guys just have it.
Summer of Steph.
So, Summer of Steph.
Summer of Steph. Then he comes out with the documentary, which is like...
The Underrated.
Apple TV, which I thought was great. I just thought it was like the whole lead up to it. He was on Hot Ones. I don't know if you saw that. Like, he's been everywhere.
Oh, you know me. I'm a big
both
Hot Ones wings guy. Like,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But it just feels like everywhere I'm looking, like, Steph is popping up. He's coming out with a bourbon. It is summer Did I tell you about that?
No.
He's coming out with a bourbon.
Summer Steph.
Yeah. So, and just, we were just talking about that. Like, he seems super locked into, like, he's enjoying himself, but you can also tell, like, when he's being interviewed about, like, the season, like NBA, he's like, it's on, dude.
We've discussed
it's on.
Privately that, 2 years ago when he said, you don't want to see us next year, I'm getting those vibes. Title, right? I'm getting those vibes right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting ready.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think he was.
So Warriors homers, I'm like already going to say, I'm going to pick the Warriors. Just
forever to go all the way.
That new roster, the chemistry is going to be changed.
Yeah.
Without the Poole Draymond thing. I'm going to go for it. I'm not going to go against
them.
I'm not going to go against them.
I mean, okay.
We'll do it in our NBA preview.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go against them.
I'm just going to say, I'm going to have
such a Warriors homer.
Like, no.
I do. Also been right a lot lately.
Right. No, you're right. 4 and 8 years. I mean, what are you saying here? I would just say that I'm giving Denver a lot of respect from last year.
They're the favorites.
Right.
So I will pick them as the favorites, of course.
But out of the rest of the field, give me an angry, motivated Steph Curry. Give me kind of a retooled roster. No Jordan Poole. I'm a Jordan Poole guy.
Give me Denver Warriors,
Ooh.
Western Conference
Spicy.
Finals.
I love that.
Western Conference Finals.
I love
right
that.
there.
That's 7 games to me.
Yeah.
I think it matters who has home court and all that. I mean, but I'm just saying, like, that would be.
Yeah. I don't even need to wait for the rest of everything to play out for the season. Yeah. That's going to be mine. Those 2 teams are going to be Western Conference Finals.
As long as the Lakers don't beat us, I'm good. That was tough to stomach. And I completely, they won fair and square, all that.
That Lakers team was, after the trade, Pelinka pulled off quite a trade to retool that roster. Yeah. They were one of the best teams in the league, actually.
They were. I mean, I'm just not a Lakers guy. They impressed me, but, like, I would say, like, did I expect that Austin Rivers was going to outplay Klay Thompson? No. Did I expect that Lonnie Walker was going to come off the bench and turn into prime, 6-man, Lou Williams, or H is coming in, and whatever. It was just, there's a lot of stuff that happened in that series that I was like, oh, it's just not real. So I don't see
everything was wonky all year.
I don't see that all happening again. But I'm excited, man. I think the Warriors are going to be much more in the mix, whereas this year it felt like
it's hard to do it back to back.
Yeah, we were happy they went as far as they did. Yeah, exactly. So with all the issues,
I think we talked about this before, but okay, so the Warriors did go back to back when they were the super team with KD.
Yeah,
but before that, it was Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah,
all the Spurs teams, the Celtics teams, the other teams, no back to back. Back to back is tough.
It is tough. It is. Yeah, the Spurs never went back.
Never, the whole stretch. But I mean, incredible.
Oh yeah, right.
But never back to back. It's just hard.
It is really hard to do, and you figure, all the people that you beat along the way, that much more motivated to beat you the next year. So
yes,
you really have to have like a perfect year almost to repeat, let alone 3-peat.
All the pieces of the puzzle have to fall together every year, and having it happen twice a year is just hard.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll get much more to that on our NBA preview. Yeah, but opening night, I think we said, was October 24th. So we got about almost exactly 2 months.
Yeah, we got football season before that even started. Yeah.
Football. How are you feeling about football this year? General, Niners. I know we're Niners owners, so.
This guy is going to be the number 1 draft in everyone's fantasy football.
Dude. And you know what? Like, coming in, like, picking him up, I was like, oh, that's a great pickup. But I didn't realize, like, how great a pickup, like, how well he would fit in and kind of, like,
he's got Shanahan using him.
So that too. But just his versatility was just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you put
throwing for a touchdown, too.
Like, plays that were dead, and he's just like,
for those not watching, just listening, I pointed to the Christian McCaffrey jersey in my living room, in my room here behind us. Yeah.
And, we rock with Brock,
Who got healthy and came back earlier than expected, and is just straight up.
And I think he's shown that, like, that's the path forward, right? Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for a guy like Trey Lance, who we both were rooting for, I think, and thought was the future. But he's looked so rough. So, I mean, just so bad. I kind of feel like it was just a confluence of, like, injuries, bad luck, But I mean, at the end of the day, like, if he's not good enough to hack it, like,
I mean, Brock's the guy.
Yeah.
He still never lost a game where he wasn't injured.
That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy to me. I mean, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good season. I think it's going to be hard to kind of replicate everything that happened. Because
he's not just going to roll through, because, I mean, there was going to be a lot more game tape on him.
And what did they win? 12 straight
at the end of the year? Spots. Yeah. Hey, let's make him roll out to his right and his left.
Right. But I think he's good enough to adapt. And I think Shanahan with him, like, I think that's a good pair of, like, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
He uses his weapons really well.
And he seems pretty unflappable.
Yeah. Too. So do you think
big underrated part of a quarterback being unflappable, even if, like, shit goes sideways.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he wanted to play.
Look at Brady. Like, he had a lot of shit go sideways, and he still just rolled.
He wanted to play against Philly. Like, he was injured. Yeah. I mean, you saw him. He tried to come out and do everything he could. And he just didn't.
No shoulder. His elbow.
No elbow was just gone, and he was trying. Yeah, it was disappointing into the season, but I mean, you can't say the future's not bright with all the weapons they have. With another year.
I think we're talking about predictions I just did for the NBA. I'll give you. I think we get a Niners Philly rematch NFC championship.
Okay.
Rematch of last year.
So is there anyone else in the NFC you feel like is at that level, or you see could jump into?
There's teams for sure, but
I would say they're probably the favorites to get to.
There's a handful of teams for sure.
Okay.
But Rams, no. Cowboys, no.
They'll fail. So they'll falter at some point. Yeah, that's just the MO. I got some Cowboys fans in my wife's family. They're gonna hate hearing that, but it's what it is, man. I'm with you. I could see a rematch of that, and I could see it being, which I think it would have been if Purdy did get injured. Very good game. Very good game.
Yeah, I mean, it could have gone either way. It would have been a nice matchup.
Yeah.
So, bummer.
I'm still mad about that play where they called him out of bounds. That would have been a touchdown for the Niners. That ended the drive. Early in the game. But then the whole injury, it didn't matter. The injury thing happened anyways.
It wouldn't matter.
But
anyways. And then, I mean, the overall favorites were probably the Chiefs.
That team, I feel like, you get them to the big game, it doesn't matter what struggles they've had going up into there. You put Mahomes out there, he's going to pull some magic off. He's unreal.
I got to send you. Okay, so I like Mahomes. Did you ever watch Eastbound and Down?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he sounds a little bit like Powers, right?
He sounds exactly like Kenny Powers. Are you kidding me?
You're fucking out.
He sounds exactly. There's like a viral clip going.
Is there?
He sounds exactly.
It was him on like a talk show,
and
right?
Just he sounds exactly like Kenny Powers.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I love Eastbound and Down. It's one of my favorite shows ever.
Like, we show up, we get some cornbread, get some good fixings, whatever, and you're just like, oh shit, like, is this Kenny Powers? Is this Patrick Mahomes?
I love that show. It's it's pretty wild and out there, but I wouldn't say watch it around kids or anything like that. But that's a good one, man.
That's like my favorite sports viral clip.
Oh yeah,
clipping of the summer comparison.
We might have to patch that in. Yeah,
I gotta patch it in. It's too good.
So what else? NBA, NFL, baseball. I don't care, dude. I'm saying this as a guy who likes the Giants.
I was a hardcore Giants fan my whole life, but I'm just kind of like. I mean, granted, got spoiled with three World Series in the early 2010s.
But I feel like even then, it seemed like it was a more exciting league. I was following it a little bit more. These last few years, I don't know.
Strikeout, home run, walk.
Right. I don't know if it's, maybe the pandemic with
no
attendance
DH
and all that.
In the National League.
It's been trending that way for a while.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's bad promotion. I don't know. I'll pay attention. I do pay attention. I'm just not feeling it.
Right.
And I feel like, especially, people younger than us are really not feeling it.
Yeah, my kids do not care whatsoever about baseball. So.
Yeah. It's still fun to go to a game.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's just a different... I would argue, I think I mentioned this earlier, I think culturally, and this is wild to say, but I think it's true, culturally, golf has more mainstream touch on the landscape than baseball now. Which is crazy to see, but
I would agree. I think baseball.
Talking about live golf and all the PGA stuff and all that, and baseball, we got Ohtani, who's amazing.
That's the only person who I'm like, this guy is a phenom. He should be, and I think we were even talking about this before we recorded. How is he not the biggest star in the world right now?
I know.
And talked about everywhere.
Right.
There has not been a prospect like him. Or not even a prospect. He just is who he is. Yes. He's unreal.
Japanese Babe Ruth.
And no one really knows about him.
Yeah.
Is it because he's on a team that's not really talked about? Or is it because it's baseball and nobody's I don't know.
I don't know. It's definitely a thing, though. But again, so like, yeah, in the last couple of months, there's been more talk about golf stuff in the mainstream media.
I'd say golf for sure is more on the rise. Than baseball's in a steep decline.
Ohtani's gotten less real coverage mainstream than Steph Curry winning the amateur event in golf. For real. Right?
That's pretty unreal. I agree, though.
I'm not sure who's to blame. I mean, I don't like a lot of the stuff Manfred's done, as their commissioner, but I don't know. It's a strange shift. It's definitely a shift.
I don't even know how they bring it back, to be honest. I mean,
I still love going to a baseball game, but but it's a bizarre shift.
Interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that. See if they try and shake things up. If things, maybe they figure out a way to make it more popularized somehow.
I don't know if this is the actual answer, but I'm going to throw this theory out there. Okay. So we had the whole Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire thing, and then Barry Bonds goes crazy. Yep. Clemens is playing great. There's PEDs. And then they just throw everybody under the bus. And then, like, the Hall of Fame, it's like, Bonds has 7 MVP awards. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And not to mention, I mean, okay, I don't want to get into the PEDs and whatever, but like, Big Papi, David Ortiz, who I love, tested positive for PEDs, but he's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Roger Clemens, who I've never been a fan of, but he's amazing. 7 Cy Youngs, I believe, also not in the Hall of Fame. So do you think it just feels like a bunch of like geriatric sports writer fucking assholes have taken over some of this like governorship of the sport in a way, and it turns everyone off. It turns me off.
I feel like
I don't know if that plays into it, but maybe
I hear what you're saying. And I feel like it's more of maybe like people who are on the media's bad side, right? Because Bonds was always
popularity contest bullshit.
So then it's like, oh well, he's not getting it. Come on.
Yeah.
Like
fine, he was an asshole to a bunch of guys in the media, but he's the best I've ever seen. Right. He's the best I've ever seen in any sport. Yeah. Really. Like, he was so incredible.
Because there's a lot of people in the NBA Hall of Fame who the media didn't really, you know what I mean, who weren't like the media guys. But
so maybe it's like a curmudgeon thing has turned a lot of the younger generation off.
Yeah.
And not even younger, we're not young. To baseball a little bit. I think it does a little bit. It's just you're kind of shitting on everybody.
Yeah,
it's just,
I agree.
Yeah. But then Bud Selig's in the Hall of Fame, even though he oversaw that whole era.
True. Yeah.
The Phillies. Yeah, I think it leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
They're all focused on the pace of play, and they have that pitch clock, and that's fine. But I feel like that's the cultural impact of all that. I think is a bigger deal than gets attributed.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I'm spitballing here.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I
think there's a lot of things playing against them right now. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can rebound a little bit. Maybe get like a group of exciting players that come up around the same time. I mean, that's kind of a luck and coincidence thing, but like Ohtani feels like the only person really that's like,
Yeah, Ohtani should be way bigger than he is.
Right. And I mean, I think that's a problem in, like we said, baseball in general, but I think you see that with some other athletes in other sports too. Like, sometimes with a guy like Steph, who obviously worked Warrior Summers and something like that, I feel like sometimes he doesn't get promoted like he should either. I mean, this guy is going to go down as one of the top players ever. And some of the, like you look at like Nike guys and like how they're promoted and kind of how that goes. And then a guy like Steph who, I feel like is Under Armour basically. I mean, he's like owns part of the company and is like, I mean,
they do such a bad job with him, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. This is why, I was trying to like come to.
I was like, can I get some like Steph Under Armour swag, something?
Terrible.
And they have like nothing.
How is that possible?
Like, he's one of the biggest names in the freaking world in sports, and you go their website, and you're like, what? This is it?
It's bad. Nothing? It's bad.
It's
even his shoe line, like everything else.
I'm calling, hey, Under Armour, whoever's running your fucking marketing division, step it up. Like, are you kidding me?
You're talking about one of the greats.
I know.
There's
nothing.
No, this is what I'm saying.
You go to the Under Armour website and there's nothing. It's like, oh, do they even sponsor Curry?
Right.
Like, it's unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like at this point, Curry's kind of tied into it, and like it wouldn't really.
Well, he's loyal too.
He's loyal.
He snubbed him.
No, yeah, absolutely, he's loyal. But I'm just saying.
Well, he's got his bag.
He's got his bag. I mean, like I said, he pretty much is Under Armour. Like, but still, it's like you would just figure like it's mutually beneficial for them to promote him as well with their brand.
I was literally on their website just a couple of months ago looking, and I was like,
unreal.
Is there anything?
Yeah, and I was.
They could sell Curry golf shoes.
Yeah,
I think they have a pair. It's like they don't even like cross sport,
right?
Like, just anything. Like
follow this
because they do a lot of golf stuff, like Jordan Speed and whatever.
Yeah,
like why you do a Curry line? I think they have one little thing, but it's just
There's an account Warriors World on social media, but they were like, I think they posted some kind of billboard that Under Armour had up of Steph, and it was terrible. I mean, barely mentioned him, and like, what are we doing here? It's unreal to me. Like, seriously, whoever's running that, like, and it didn't just start. This has been
it's been a couple of years. It's been making several years.
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm not saying that that's exactly what's going on with all of baseball while it's struggling, but you do see it with some major athletes, and you're just like, dude, what is happening right now? So.
I have another theory about what went wrong with baseball as well.
Okay.
Social media, internet culture, YouTube, etc. The NBA has really embraced that. You see great clips on Twitter, social media, right? And then a number of years ago, anytime you posted anything like that, whatever, the MLB would take it down. And it's like, this is free promotion of your sport. Right. What are you doing?
Right.
That was a huge mistake.
That's interesting. I didn't realize.
That's a huge mistake.
I think I do remember hearing about that and then just not caring because I was like, oh, well, then I'll just.
Because how much time you send someone a link to like Twitter or whatever, or whatever Twitter's called now,
right?
X.
That's what I was gonna say. I was
talking about bad marketing. Yeah, I think that was a massive mistake. I remember saying at the time, I was like, people are trying to share clips of your sport,
right?
Your sport, and you're pulling it
Any
down.
engagement is good. Right? Yeah.
Huge mistake. I think that's just an all-time just fumble.
Yeah, absolutely.
The NFL was always cool with share those clips. They don't care.
Like you said, it's engagement. People are like wanting to share things about your product. Yeah.
I'll give the NFL this. They might be kind of shitty in some ways, but man, they know how to promote.
They do, for sure. What else? Man, we had some other stuff. It's been a while.
It's down here right now.
I don't know. Anything else major? We pretty much
hit the bases.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an exciting
time.
See
you in person. Finally doing this in person.
I feel like things are gonna pick up like a month from now. Well, even before that, really, football's gonna kick into high gear, and that's I think where we're gonna be.
We'll do an NFL
at least
preview
a weekly
with our
NFL
preview.
Weekly episode.
Yeah,
recap.
I guess we should do that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. What opening week is first week of September?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. I don't even know whichever. I didn't do any research on who the Niners play, anything like that. I mean, it's a couple weeks away.
Yeah. I know we got preseason games going, but
yeah, and you know what?
I don't give a shit about.
You know what's interesting? I actually considered going to the game.
I know Saturday. You mentioned. I was like,
I'm really glad I didn't because I watched that freaking game. Oh my god, it was good. Apparently, it was good. I didn't see the beginning of the game. Apparently, that was the interesting part. Birdie came in for like
2 seconds,
good, and played pretty well on like a set of downs, and then the whole rest of the game was. I think Trey played a little bit. Darnold played. It was just unwatchable. We were just sitting there having drinks and like, oh.
The coaches care
So I would've
less
been
and
miserable
less
at
about
that game.
preseason games. They actually, the coaches, my general view, they care more about like when they do organized practices against other teams in practice.
Okay.
I guess that's become a bigger emphasis for them than the actual preseason games.
Well, and then my whole thing was like, I really considered it. Yeah, the tickets are cheap, but I got to drive all the way down there. I don't know who's going to play. I don't know, what quality the game is going to be.
I think the quality is going to be.
It would have been horrible. Yeah. Thank you for talking me out of that. I don't know if you did, but
I said that, I was like, I'm not in.
And I talked to my dad. Even he was like, "Don't do that." He was like, I'm just was craving like going to like an event out here.
Right.
It's the middle of August, so it's going to be,
You got to come out and do a Warriors game, Kings game.
You can do that. We can do that. We did the game at Chase 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They ended up losing, but they almost won. That was exciting. We had a good time. Plan that out. Or you could come out to New York and we could see remember we've been talking about that. I think it's later this year. Last year it was like around before the holidays.
When they're going to play the Nets?
I think it's like more like January, February this year. So
we're going to have a Knicks game too. I've never been in a Knicks game. That'd be fun.
Knicks game tickets are going to be a little more, especially since the Knicks are actually pretty good now.
I know it'd be fun.
But it would be fun. So we'll plan something out. But we'll get some more episodes in soon. It's nice to be back. Swirlo. Get your gear.
You don't push it that hard.
No, listen, man. It's good products. Like I told you when I put the shirt on, I was like, dude. And you had told me, you're like, it's the material's nice and stuff. Dude, it's comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Yeah. So get your gear.
All right, man.
What are they gonna say now?
Good
Season
times.
2. We did it live.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back soon.
All right. Peace.